Well, thank you everyone for coming to this event. We're Uzbek down the hill. We're excited to have everyone here today. My name is Samaj Red from the Office of Congressman Trish Kelly. And my boss with Siddiq Gonzalez, we co-chaired the Uzbek Caucus. And so we've been leading the caucus for about 4 years now in the House, and we're very excited about the progress Uzbekistan has made and will continue. Without further ado, the ambassador.
Thanks so much. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable Congressman Sessions, the Chairman Lam, Deputy Assistant Administrator Kaur, the nominee Club, ambassadors and friends, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all of you joining us today of occasion in bilateral relations being held in first time in the U.S. Congress. Your presence here significantly grows importance in deepening the ties between Uzbekistan and the United States. First, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Congressman Trent Kelly, the co-chairman of the Congressional Caucus on Uzbekistan, for his help to arrange today's event. I would like to say historical events. Congressman Kelly has been a true friend of Uzbekistan on the Hill. We deeply appreciated his support and commitment to strengthening our bilateral ties. Uzbekistan recognizes the United States' commitment to promote peace, security, economic development in Central Asia. We appreciated the support and assistance provided by U.S. in various sectors, including education, healthcare, infrastructure, and rule of law. These collaborations have had a positive impact on our societies, contributing to our mutual growth and progress. Dear friends, it is important to repeal Jackson-Vanik Amendment, particularly to respect to the nations of Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. Our countries have made significant strides in their political, economic, and human rights landscape. By repealing the Jackson-Vanik Amendments, we'll have opportunity to build stronger partnership, enhance cultural exchange, and promote mutual understanding. Dear friends, we're keeping close engagement with the Congress through the Congressional Caucus on Uzbekistan. Currently, 70 members of the House, members of the caucus, engaging on strengthening Uzbekistan-US relationship. Over the past 5 years, more than 40 congressmen and their staff members have visited Uzbekistan, contributing immensely to consistency of our partnership. We are now working on the next visit of CODEL in August 2023. That's why I would like to say thank you to the staff and the congressmen for organizing this visit again. I am honored to have Congressman Pete Session, which today will join us, and other such advocate of Uzbekistan in Capitol Hill. His dedication to the fostering the friendly relations between our nations is commendable, and we are grateful for his presence. Unfortunately, Congresswoman Carol Miller couldn't join us in person today, but she sent a video message for this event. We appreciate her continued support of our bilateral cooperation. Dear friends, I'm delighted to introduce you distinguished members of the Uzbek delegation who have joined us today. We are honored to have Senator Sadat Safayev, the third chairman of the Senate of Uzbekistan, and Mr. Dr. Kulatov, Executive Director of the Development Strategy Center. They will provide us with an update on the latest reforms taking place in Uzbekistan. Lastly, I want to express my gratitude to all of you to have taken time to attend this event today. Without further ado, I would like to give the floor to His Excellency Senator Safayev. Senator Safayev, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Good morning. It's a great honor and privilege to be in the Railroad building and to have an Uzbekistan Day. I fully agree with the Ambassador that it's historical now. I'd like to express my gratitude all who organized this event. To my mind, it demonstrates the vision of people and their understanding of the trends going on in the world today, and importance of Central Asia, greater Central Asia in contemporary world. I appreciate ambassadors of our brotherly countries, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, for being with us today, members of the U.S. And representatives of the U.S. administration, staffers, and our old friends from business led by Carol Lamb. Thank you very much for being with us today. You know, I always teach my students in the university to see every event in a context. So today we are trying to make a comprehension of what's going on in Uzbekistan, but I think that we first of all should say a few words about the context where we are living. We're living in a challenging world, which is going to be even more challenging. Without saying two words, I'd like to tell you that today among the academicians there is new term, polycrisis, when the simultaneous occurrence of many events which might undermine the sustainable development. And it's exactly what we have today, the geopolitical tension, confrontation, militarization, ecological problems, epidemiological problems, etc. And all demonstrates that we need today to rethink our contemporary world, because it's clear that we're living in a different world. At the same time, Central Asia today might be viewed a little bit more optimistic than it was before. We're happy today to have more understanding, readiness to compromise, to dialogue between Central Asian countries, and I think that we should give a credit to the leaders of our countries, specifically President of Kazakhstan, President of Uzbekistan, for creating new political atmosphere in Central Asia. And as a whole knows that it was not, should be not taken for granted. For many, many years, many issues in Central Asia looked unresolved. But today, we've seen that step by step, they're going to be overcome and addressed. Issues of border management, water management, etc., etc., energy resources. And moreover, Central Asia started to look to the new options, new direction, diversifying its vision. First of all, it expands to the South Caucasus, and today, presence of Ambassador of Azerbaijan demonstrates that Central Asia today should be not viewed in, let's say, previous shape or previous formation. Today, we might see that Azerbaijan is going to be indispensable part of Central Asian equation, specifically taking into account the perspective for opening up new transport routes via Baku to the many other destinations, including Europe. And I think that creating access, Baku, Astana, Tashkent, will mean new vision and will open up new horizons for development in Central Asia. And lastly, I'd like to tell you that I believe that the positive transformation in Central Asia and beyond could not be possible without the brave reforms embarked by President Mirziyoyev 7 years ago. Indeed, within these years, Uzbekistan has been transformed. The fact that here in Rainburn building we have Uzbekistan Days demonstrates the new image of Uzbekistan and its appreciation of Uzbekistan by our partners, including strategic partners, the United States. Let me, making long story short, to say a few words about the main achievements and main challenges of Uzbekistan reforms. To my mind, there are three main pillars which create new Uzbekistan. First, human rights and freedoms in Uzbekistan. Clearly, today we might saying that Uzbekistan is completely different. People started to feel themselves free and engaged and responsible, started to demand from the government, and they are not passive subjects of policy. They are objects of policy. They are subjects and they are participating in decision-making process and oversight of the activity of government in all levels. I think the new constitution or renewed constitution provides them with new opportunities to implement their civil rights and exercise the opportunities for being part in the decision-making process. Second, economic development. Normally, during the transformation, economy falls. It's a rule of the transformation. It's understandable. But in case of Uzbekistan, the GDP of country grew for 25% during the 7 years. We started with a little bit more than $50 billion, and today it's more than $80 billion, and there is a plan that in 5 years it will double. And I think that it, first of all, has been achieved due to the privatization and releasing the creation capacity of people via confirming their rights and entrepreneurial freedom. Liberalization of economy also means more openness to the foreign investors, and today geography expanded. More than 51 countries invest to Uzbekistan, and it creates not only new jobs but new opportunities, new markets, and transform the structure of economy. The share of the industry in Uzbekistan during the 5 years increased from 25% to 35%, while agriculture declined. Share of agriculture. Agriculture is also growing, but its relative share is declining. And the third achievement of Uzbekistan was foreign policy, where Uzbekistan became more open and more active. Let me share with you my own conclusion that Uzbekistan is getting more and more to gain the status of regional power, affecting the development not only in domestic, but in a region and beyond. For instance, Afghanistan. It gives me a chance for you to address things. It would be a great mistake for world community once again to forget about Afghanistan, being preoccupied with domestic issues, with crisis in Ukraine, etc. But Afghanistan should not be forget the many sacrifices of human lives, including in the United States. First of all, in the United States, the huge financial investment in Afghanistan should not be evaporated by our abandons or ignorance of Afghanistan. We should continue to be engaged in Afghanistan despite that it's not easy. About the challenges, I think that we're just in the beginning of the reforming process. What has been done during the 7 years is only first steps, initial steps, maybe easiest part of reforms. We fully realize that more serious challenges ahead. It will demand different approach, different vision, different way of bringing this, because the next steps will be unpopular. Leading. And I think that before this meeting, we were sharing our points with Carol, and I said, to my mind, today, one of the most important, let's say, important deficit in the world is a deficit of leadership. And it's worldwide, in every country, and I think that we need new type of leadership in Uzbekistan, which means new generation of people to come who will be able to implement unpopular steps, including with liberalization, which will be unpopular because it will lead to the growing inflation and rises of prices, and hardly people will allow to that. Same as with other steps during the, for instance, even with the more freedom of religions, not everybody applauded to this government, saying that it was a mistake. But government is committed to deepening reforms. Here, I think that the main challenges is associated with the capacity building and taking into account the presence of USA leaders. I'd like to tell you that we highly appreciate the assistance of the United States in upgrading the level of education, including the English and some specific your assistance to our universities. And I think it's crucial, building new generation of people, especially in the medium level. This is important. You cannot implement genuine reforms using old guard and old tools and old system. The new people must come. Second challenge for us, for me, it's also is to my mind crucial as an economist. It's a real privatization, which has impediments related to our legacy, related to the old Soviet-style huge combinat, which is not easy to privatize, but it should be done. We fully realize that. And it's not easy, but we have some ideas how to do that. And with that, we might also, let's say, define the next challenge. It's a transformation of financial sector of Uzbekistan. Capital market, which is still, to my mind, it's an embryonic form of development. Here as well, we are looking forward for more cooperation with United States companies, and this September, together with, under the aegis of American Chamber of Commerce, we're going to have a business forum. And I think that, Carol, we might concentrate specifically on these issues. To my mind, it's crucial for the success of future reforms, financial sector, banking system, and capital market system. All in all, with our renewed constitution, we now have a program for further reforming. Uzbekistan, according to the new constitution, must be democratic, sovereign, socially oriented, with secular and running by law state. This is now coined in new constitution, and I'm sure that it will be the case, because there is no other way to be successful in this world. There is no other way to be competitive and to achieve our goals. And lastly, in any case, the strategic partnership with the United States, with administration and Congress, is a pivotal priority for Uzbekistan foreign policy. We're now working on a new version of foreign policy and concept of Uzbekistan, and again, I'd like to tell, in any version, this is one again confirmed that the partnership with the United States is important. We think the presence of the United States in Central Asia has an utmost importance for stable and for democracy and for sustainable development of the region. Our dialogue with the United States Congress, especially with the caucus, is very important, and we appreciate the efforts of the caucus to enhance our partnership and dialogue in all ways. And we're looking forward in August to have another U.S. co-deal in Uzbekistan. We're working hard with Hampton program, and we will have it. And once again, I appreciate your presence here. I'm here not only to talk, but to listen. And I'm looking forward for your comments, ideas, suggestions to Uzbekistan. I know that the good ideas are friends, and I would appreciate you sharing it with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Spivak, for your remarks, and
Thank you very much.
And I think that we've made great progress, and we look forward to the continued relationship. Up next is a great friend of the Uzbekistan Caucus and a great friend to Uzbekistan, Congressman Pete Sessions.
Thank you very much, Senator and Ambassador. What a delight it is to be here today. As a young man growing up in Texas, I studied not only history, but also politics. And one of my favorite books was Hans Morgenthau, Politics Among Nations. And Politics Among Nations has a number of characteristics about how you succeed. And a lot of it has to do with not only who you are, but where you sit and where you think you're going to go. And perhaps the most important was, what is in your best interest? And Hans Morgenthau taught us it's always good to build coalitions because no one can do it by themselves. As I heard the senator talk today, it reminded me about how far the will of the people of Uzbekistan is and how it's come to where it is today. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of desire. It's also looking up and seeing the world as it is, not the way you want it to be, but understanding what it's going to take to get there. Your embassy has been engaged for a long period of time, not just in outreach, but actually in partnership. A partnership that I believe, and we here in Congress believe, is not only in America's best interest, but we want to take Uzbekistan up on what they want to. To hear a clear enunciation about philosophy, about direction, about responsibility, about the people, about hard times and easy things that are to be achieved is what today is also about, and will continue to be. But let's understand this, that free people who see that they can coexist not only with their government, but with their government, everyone can do well and better, is the basis of the heart of this. In America, we've called this for a long time the American dream, where a person could come here and the system was in place that would allow everyone with hard work, with comfort of getting up early and perhaps staying up late, but achieving that dream. That's what I hear. That's what I hear that people in Uzbekistan thirst for. An opportunity for them to have not only a free shot at this, but to do it together in their country, with their country, to gain partnership, to gain the opportunity to know as they look up who are their friends in the world and what is the model that we wish to follow. That's what the United States hears. And I think that's what the United States sees. Do we want to be a part of it? Yes. Is it going to take work? Yes. Is it going to take us, the United States Congress, the administration of whoever that is, the State Department, is it going to take them to have a mature vision of the depth of not only where we believe it can go, but the depth to fill that void up to where we make sure that we live up to the undertaking that lies in front of us. So today is more than just Uzbekistan Day on the Hill. It doesn't come just with pride of authorship. It's wrapped around the ideas of success, of modernization, of working together. We'll do our job, you do your job. Here's what we want, need from you. Here's what you will get from us. And I will tell you that I believe people back home will be excited and thirst for this new success. So, I'll say it as a senior member of Congress, I think we'd be making a mistake if we did not take you up on this. If we don't do our part. If your young ambassador came to the Hill and had no taking from my colleagues. So, I believe we're up to it. I believe we're up to it, and I'll say it on a bipartisan basis. You bet. On a basis of making sure that we listen and build that relationship, that we include our economic prowess of our companies who would want to do business, that we find opportunity, that we follow it up with trips of not just admiration, but trips of cooperation. Do I think we're up to it? You bet. Do I think Uzbekistan is up to it? You bet I do. So for the opportunity to be here today and hear these direct avenues that we can follow, they're important. I assure you, we have people in this administration who are up to this. We have people who can be eager for this relationship, but let us work together. This is not something that will be done by one side or the other, or one person or the other. But I will say, in that word I, you may count me as part of that under the I. I want success, I want working together, and I want this to be not just a hearty dream, but a successful relationship. So, thank you for asking me to be here today. I will tell you, if we don't match up right now, I think we miss a target that would be great for huge amounts of people who thirst for a relationship with what I think is the greatest country in the world. And the greatest country in the world should be wanting this relationship, not to throw anyone else. We don't trade people, we add this relationship. So, Godspeed to each of you, and for those who dream small, rethink that tonight as you drop to your knees and give thanks for all that we have of getting better. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Congressman Sessions, for those remarks, and they were truly inspirational, and they reflect the vision of the Uzbekistan Caucus and the vision that Uzbekistan has. Without further ado, we have a video message from Congresswoman Carol Miller.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Congresswoman Carol Miller, and I represent West Virginia's 1st Congressional District. I'm sorry that I cannot join your event today on Capitol Hill, and I want to commend your Ambassador Siddiqov and Senator Safayev for organizing a successful Uzbekistan Day on Capitol Hill. Senator Safayev, welcome back to Washington. I hope you enjoy your visit. Ambassador Siddiqov, I know you are new in your post as ambassador, and I look forward to working with you and your team to further advance the U.S.-Uzbekistan trade and investment friendship. As a member of the Ways and Means Trade Subcommittee, I am focused on elevating America's trade and investment interests throughout the world, including Central Asia. It is so important to me that our allies share our values of liberty and stability. When we share a common vision, we create a better and more secure future for our nations. You are building a strong, independent Uzbekistan, a nation free to make your own choices and chart your own path, away from the grasp of former rulers and extreme regional pressures. I urge you to continue down this path. Since 2016, Uzbekistan has made encouraging market and investment reforms that have positioned them as a beacon of trade and stability in Central Asia. As a valuable intersection of the ancient Silk Road, Uzbekistan has the potential to be a strong trade partner of the U.S., as they are in the process of joining the World Trade Organization. It's my understanding that Uzbekistan is making great progress on their WTO accession efforts. To recognize these ongoing efforts, I, along with Congressman Trent Kelly, have recently introduced H.R. 1755, the Uzbekistan Normalized Trade Act. This legislation emphasizes the importance of furthering trade with strategically located Uzbekistan. I look forward to advancing this important piece of legislation in the 118th Congress. During a time of global trade rebalancing, America needs strong allies in critical regions of the world. Uzbekistan successfully acceding to the WTO is a critical next step. WTO membership will ensure that Uzbekistan fully realizes the benefits of fair trade and market access, and it will be a critical step in advancing the U.S.-Uzbekistan economic relationship. In conclusion, I look forward to working with Uzbekistan to increase bilateral trade and investment between our two great nations. After all, the essence of trade is not just based on reciprocity, but alignment of values and the rule of law. Thank you.
Well, next up, we have the chairwoman for the American Uzbekistan Chamber of Commerce, Carol Lamb.
Thank you. I am absolutely honored to greet you today as chairman of the board of the AUCC. Established in 1993, shortly after the breakup, we are the largest of the DC-based groups leading U.S. Fortune 500 and 100 companies. We promote significant trade and investment between Uzbekistan and the United States. And I must say, I am thrilled to see so many of you from the American Congress here supporting, because that's tremendously important to our American businesses that are operating in Uzbekistan or producing here to sell to Uzbekistan. It's a very important market. Our members have grown from 13 when we started to over 50, representing such brands as CNH Industrial. They've been selling heavy equipment for the mining sector since 1993, and they have service centers where they're training young Uzbeks to repair them and maintain them. The Coca-Cola Company, they've been there with a bottling plant from the very beginning and very successful and very happy negotiating that market and selling to Central Asia. GM is an extraordinary success story. It's the third largest production facility in the GM network. They produce over 450,000 vehicles per annum that they sell in Central Asia and to Russia. Caterpillar, GE, the Boeing Company, Uzbek Air flies 787s between New York and Tashkent. I mean, this is a win-win situation for American business, American jobs, Uzbek development, Uzbek employment, and Uzbek jobs. Our business chamber represents solely American companies. They're all American, and they're doing business in Uzbekistan. Since 93, we've been advocating the issues of importance to our American business, and we've been doing well with both the Uzbek government and the US government, because you need support on both sides. Obviously, a stable legal structure is essential to doing business and doing business well. You need to know what the rules are, and you need to figure out how to operate successfully in light of those rules. We are delighted that we have our 30th anniversary this year, and we will have a big US-Uzbek annual business forum to celebrate that. And we're working hard, Senator, on enhancing the capital markets and financial support for the Uzbek investments and expansions. You know, today Uzbekistan and the United States really enjoy solid relationships, but we all know Uzbekistan lives in a tough neighborhood. They have some very difficult trading partners in the geopolitical context, but they need friends. They need friends on the Hill, they need friends in the United States, they need friends in the region, and we really have an obligation.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. I know I'm probably going to be redundant because a number of us have been saying a lot of the same praises of Uzbekistan, but we're excited all to be here to celebrate one of the most transformational bilateral relationships in recent memory. And my hope is that we can use this time together to chart a path that grows the number of public and private stakeholders playing a role in deepening cooperation between our two countries. And I'm proud to say on behalf of USAID that our strong and growing partnership with Uzbekistan since 2000 has provided over $600 million in bilateral assistance to harmonize our two countries' efforts to bring security and prosperity to the people of Uzbekistan. So after receiving congressional authorization to elevate our presence, USAID's, in Central Asia, we were able to establish an independent mission in September 2020. Some of you may have not realized that during COVID. It crept up slowly, quietly, but it's a huge presence. And it's really our long-term commitment to the government and to the people of Uzbekistan. So President Mirziyoyev's wide-ranging economic, political, and social reforms demonstrate both a bold new vision for the country, but also how USAID has now an unprecedented opportunity to deepen our engagement with the government to help realize that vision. So as we've heard about the new constitutional amendments that outline reforms that strengthen the rule of law, protect individual rights and the freedom of expression, and introduce new checks and balances on governing institutions. Music to our ears, especially responding for USAID. So our ongoing work then supports these newly enshrined government reforms by building the capacity of legal professionals and law schools, strengthening local governance, increasing access to justice, improving the professionalism and integrity of the judiciary, and creating a healthy investment climate based on the rule of law, all of which was just spoken about. So we applaud this new legislation being passed also to expand human rights and protection in line with the reform agenda. And so, for example, most recently in April, the president signed a groundbreaking law strengthening the protection of children and women from violence. USAID Uzbekistan is proud to have contributed to these efforts to expand human rights and protections over the last 5 years, having advised the government on its first gender equality and gender-based violence law in 2019, and then delivering free legal and support for gender-based violence shelters nationwide, working with civil society to improve and protect women's rights. On the economic front, Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine has increased the urgency to open new markets and diversify channels of economic growth. And to that extent, we're working with partners in the region to create a more connected Central Asia that can attract greater investment, accelerate economic growth and employment. And additionally, we have plans to launch a new activity this fall that will focus on creating jobs in the high growth sectors of ICT, green economy, textiles, and tourism. And we're already seeing concrete results from our partnership. Last year, 8 Uzbek agribusinesses participated at Europe's leading fruit and vegetable trade fair, where Uzbekistan companies signed export agreements valued at approximately $673,000. We're hoping for a lot more this year in this year's trade forum. So with this positive momentum, I'm heartened by Uzbekistan's renewed determination to join the World Trade Organization, which we have been supporting through USAID since 2018. And additionally, with over 60% of the country's population under the age of 30, the government has rightly prioritized employing a great portion of youth to fuel the nation's economic growth and development. USAID bolsters youth employment by supporting in and after school programs to improve youth work readiness and linking job seekers with companies to create opportunities for hands-on training and internships. And at the same time, our education programming is enhancing the quality of instruction and providing new English textbooks that benefit over 6.5 million students and tens of thousands of teachers across the country. In the health sector, we're expanding upon years of close partnership with the National TB program and investing in TB services and systems. And to date, we have been able to address many of the challenges faced by the country in the fight against TB, introducing new drugs and technologies, shortening TB regimens, and reducing the time between diagnosis and treatment. This is a huge deal if you didn't realize how big of a problem tuberculosis is in many countries still, especially in Central Asia. And so finally, rising temperatures and glacial retreat in Central Asia put the long-term security of water and food security in jeopardy. And so we're working there to strengthen regional capacity to manage shared water resources and mitigate environmental risks in the Syr Darya and the Amu Darya river basins. Additionally, we're working with Uzbek governments to counter the adverse effects of desertification in the Aral Sea region through afforestation programs. These efforts will improve Uzbekistan's environmental resilience and the management of critical resources in these rapidly changing times. As with any burgeoning relationship, challenges arise, and USAID periodically faces difficulties in implementing partner organizations and concerns that we've happily been able to raise with the Uzbek government, and we've been receiving great results. And working through these challenges together also strengthens our relationship. Our partnership endures and will continue to achieve significant results that advance our mutual priorities. As you can tell from the long list of achievements, we are witnessing two countries' interests converge like never before, and there's still so much more we can do. This is a time of inflection for Uzbekistan as well as for USAID. It is an opportunity for USAID to deepen its engagement, commit additional resources, and build on the momentum established during recent years. I plan to travel to Uzbekistan and the broader region later this year, and I welcome congressional staffers here to join me on this trip so you can see for yourself the tremendous progress USAID is making with our partners in Uzbekistan. Thank you.
As you've heard from many of our speakers here, it's paving the way for economic development and transformation in Uzbekistan. For the congressional staff that's here and for the members of Congress, I just want to make a plug for my boss's legislation, HR 1755, the Uzbekistan Normalized Trade Act. This is a well-needed piece of legislation. We have support from many members. Carol Miller gave remarks about it, and this no longer applies to Uzbekistan. And they've done tremendous work with us economically, with our Chamber of Commerce, and have done incredible work assisting the United States with the withdrawal in Afghanistan. And the last thing that, just to call, if your boss or if you are not on the Uzbek Caucus, please join. We would love to have you. Without further ado, there's lunch here, and so we invite everyone to grab lunch and to meet with the senator and the ambassador. So thank you all so much for coming out.